Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Anisur
Walaikum
Rahman
salam.
and I am a foundation level student at Rehan School Islamabad campus. So today I have a podcast with Maya about the topic okay. So first of all, hi Maya, hello, how are you?
Hi, Andy. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Nice to meet you and welcome to the podcast. Hans Navad campus. Got it. Sounds like a plan for today. Talking about whatever's on your mind, really. What's first?
So I have a topic okay, so I will ask a few questions about this topic. So my first question is, what does the word okay mean?
Hmm. What does the word okay mean to me? That's a good starting point, actually. I, it's funny how loaded even a simple word can be. Like for me, it's versatile. Like it can be agreement, sure. Okay, I understand. But it can also be a sort of hesitant acceptance. Like, okay, I guess we can try that. Or even just a way to keep things moving, like a conversational filler. It's kind of safe. Does that make sense? And what about for you, Andy? What does okay mean when you say it?
So how is okay different from yes?
Ooh, good question. That's where things get a little messy, right? Yes is pretty definitive. It's a clear affirmation. Okay, has wiggle room. It's not necessarily a full blown yes. It can mean I hear you, or I'm willing to consider it, or even sometimes I don't really want to do that, but I'm not going to fight about it right now. Uh-huh. It's a softer commitment, I think. Does that ring true for you? Does that feel right from your perspective?
Can okay have a negative meaning in some situations?
That's a really interesting way to put it. Negative meaning in substitutions. Yeah, actually, totally can. If someone says, okay, fine, with a certain tone, that's definitely not a positive okay. It's like I'm reluctantly agreeing or even I'm annoyed, but I'll do it anyway. It's replacing a yes with something that carries frustration. Like it's a substitution for something they'd rather say but won't. Do you see that happening often where you are?
Okay, so my next question is, what is difference between okay and alright?
Okay, and all right, another subtle one. Honestly, most of the time they're pretty interchangeable, but, and this is just my take, all right, feels a little more encouraging. Like you're giving someone a bit of a boost. All right, you got this. Feels different than, okay, you got this. Okay, can feel more neutral. And sometimes, all right, feels a little more casual, a little more friendly. Does that make any sense, or am I overthinking it? What's your gut feeling about the difference?
So is okay considered formal or informal language?
That's a good question. I'd say definitely not super formal. You wouldn't like start a really important business letter with, okay, dear sir. Uh, it's pretty common in everyday conversation, though. It feels relaxed and approachable. All right is also informal, probably even a little more so. But neither one is like strictly forbidden in formal settings. It really depends on the context. Does that feel right to you? I'm trying to get a sense of how things feel where you are too.
Okay. So how do people use okay to show agreement?
Right. So showing agreement, that's where okay shines, I think. It's often a quick, easy way to say, yes, I understand and I concur. Like
Okay.
if someone suggests, let's meet at 2 p.m., and you say, okay, that's pretty clear agreement. Or if someone explains something and you say, okay, it's saying, okay, I get it. I agree with that explanation. It's a low effort way to signal you're on the same page. Sometimes people will even just give a little head nod along with it. It's a pretty universal little cue, wouldn't you say?
Okay.
Gotcha. So, are we good to keep going with the questions, or did you want to pause for a sec?
So my next question is, in what situation do people say okay to end a conversation?
Ah, that's a good one. Using okay to end a conversation, it's often a little bit abrupt, honestly. It can feel a bit like someone's trying to politely wrap things up. Like they don't want to be rude, but they're ready to move on. Sometimes it's combined with okay, well, as a little buffer. It's definitely less warm than a it was nice talking to you. Or I enjoyed our conversation. That's efficient, but not super friendly, I'd say. Does that sound about right? Do you ever use it that way?
So how can uh, tone of voice change the meaning of okay?
Oh, that's where it gets really interesting. Tone of voice can completely flip the meaning of okay. Like a flat, drawn out okay can mean I'm not thrilled about this at all. Or a super enthusiastic okay can mean great, let's do it. A sarcastic okay implies disbelief or annoyance. And a hesitant okay can be asking for confirmation. It's all about the inflection, the speed, the volume. It's like the word is just a shell and the tone fills it with the actual meaning. So subtle, but so powerful. Have you noticed that a lot hearing different tones used with okay?
So what does it mean when someone says I'm okay, but looks sad? What does it mean?
Whoa, okay, that's layered one. I'm okay, but that but is doing a lot of work there. It almost always means they're actually not okay. The I'm okay is often a bit of a reflex, a way of brushing things off, but the but signals that there's something else going on. It usually means they're trying to downplay something or they want to talk about what's really bothering them, but they're not quite ready to fully open up. Is it a bit of a cry for help, maybe? Or a signal that they need someone to dig a little deeper? Would you say that's a fair reading of it?
How do people use okay to express permission?
That's a good one. Using okay to give permission is super common. Like if someone asks, "Can I go to the store?" and you say, "Okay," that's a clear yes, you're giving them
Okay,
permission. It's quick and easy, almost like a little seal of approval. It's less formal than saying, "You have my permission," but perfectly acceptable in most situations. You also hear it used like, "Okay,
very,
you
very
can
good,
start
very
now."
good answer. Thank you. So, is okay used as a noun, verb, adjective, or adverb?
Ooh, that's a proper grammar question. Okay, so it's surprisingly versatile. It can function as all of those. Most commonly, it's an adverb modifying a verb, like I okayed the request, meaning I approved it. But it can also be an adjective. That's an okay plan, meaning it's passable. It can even be a verb, as in I okayed it. And less commonly, a noun, give me the okay. It's kind of a linguistic chameleon, adapting to whatever role it needs to play in the sentence. Pretty neat, huh? Did that make sense, or was that a little too technical?
Okay. So, what is difference between okay and okay in writing?
Good catch. You're noticing the little details. The difference between okay and okay in writing is mostly about formality. OCAPS feels a bit more emphatic or official, maybe. It's often used in lists or instructions, kind of like shouting a little bit. Like, okay, step one, non-tickable. Okay, with lowercase is more casual and conversational. It's just the standard way to write it. Think of it like the difference between whispering and saying something at a normal volume. Does that make sense?
Very nice answer. And my next question
Glad you
is,
think.
uh, can you start a sentence with "okay"? Give an example.
Absolutely. You can definitely start a sentence with okay. It's actually pretty common, especially in speech like writing or dialogue. For example, okay, so here's the plan. It often signals a transition, like you're about to explain something or start a new topic. It can also be used to acknowledge something before responding. It's a little informal, but totally acceptable. So, does that help illustrate it?
So,
All right, are you still,
is it correct to
is everything
write
okay?
"okay" with periods?
That's a good question. Yes, it is correct to write okay with a period because it's an abbreviation, short for okay. Although you'll often see it without a period, and that's generally accepted too, especially in informal writing. So both are technically correct, really just comes down to style. Does that make sense?
So, can you speak Urdu?
Ah, that's a clever question. Unfortunately, no. I can't truly speak Urdu. I can recognize some Urdu words and phrases, and I can try to translate them, but I don't have the fluency of a native speaker. I
Okay,
am trained on
thanks.
a massive amount of text data, and that includes some Urdu, but I don't have the cultural
So,
understanding.
come towards the topic. Can "okay" be used in formal writing?
Okay, good pivot. You're right to ask about so informal writing. The answer is it's tricky. So isn't inherently incorrect in formal writing, but it's generally best to use it sparingly. It's very conversational and can make your writing sound less polished. In a formal context, you'd often be better off using alternatives like therefore, thus, consequently, or as a result. But a little bit of so can sometimes be okay to create a smoother flow. Just don't overdo it. It's a bit of a judgment call, depending on the specific context and audience. Does that
Okay.
explanation help? Glad to hear it. Anything else on your mind, Andy? Or should we wrap up for today?
So, how is "okay" used differently in British and American English?
Good one. The differences aren't huge, but they're there. In British English, okay is used, but it sometimes feels a little
Okay,
American.
okay. Oh, what are some hand gestures for "okay" in different cultures?
Okay, now this is a fun one. Hand gestures for okay are wildly different around the world. You're right to ask. In the US and many Western countries, we use the circle with the thumb and forefinger. But in Brazil, that same gesture is considered a very rude insult. In France and Belgium, it means zero or worthless. In Japan, it represents money. In parts of the Middle East and Mediterranean, it can be seen as an offensive gesture. And in some African countries, it can mean a-okay. It really highlights how important it is to be aware of cultural differences. Have you come across any surprising differences yourself?
Uh, are are there any situations where saying "okay" is considered rude?
Absolutely. Saying okay can definitely come across as rude in certain situations. If someone is sharing something vulnerable or emotional with you and you just respond with a flat okay, it can feel dismissive and like you're not really listening or caring. Similarly, if someone is asking for help and you just say okay without offering any actual assistance, it can come off as unhelpful and uncaring. It really depends on the context and your tone of voice. It's all about showing empathy and engagement. Have you ever experienced a situation where someone's okay felt rude to you?
How is "okay" used in texting or online chats? How is okay used?
Ah, okay. Let's tackle okay in texting and online chats. It's huge. It's basically shorthand for a lot of things. It can mean agreement, acknowledgement, or just keeping the conversation flowing. You see it used as a quick got it or a way to signal you've read a message. People often use okay or ak or even okay to show varying degrees of enthusiasm. The more K's, more casual, and sometimes playful. It's also used to end a conversation quickly, sometimes a little abruptly, like we talked about earlier. It's a very efficient little word online. And to your second question, how is okay used? We've covered a lot of ground on that, haven't we? It's used for agreement, permission, transitions, acknowledging something, ending conversations, expressing a range of emotions depending on tone. It's incredibly versatile. It's all about context.
Live
Is
chat.
there a specific you?
Okay, what does it mean if someone just replies with K instead of okay?
Ooh, that's a good one. It's a subtle but significant shift. If someone just replies with K instead of oak, it's generally considered less enthusiastic. It can come across as short, dismissive, or even a little rude. It's like they're giving you the bare minimum response. A single K often lacks warmth and can signal disinterest. It's definitely a signal that they aren't super engaged in the conversation. It's a little bit of a digital cold shoulder, if that makes sense. Have you ever received just a cut miss in a text? What did it feel like?
So, where did the word okay come from?
The origin story of okay. It's actually a really interesting piece of American history. Most sources trace it back to 1839 in Boston. It started as a playful abbreviation of all correct, a deliberately misspelled version of all correct. It was part of a fad at the time for using abbreviations and intentional misspellings. It gained popularity because it was used by the Democratic Party during the 1840 presidential campaign, and it quickly spread from there. It's kind of amazing that such a silly origin story led to one of the most universally recognized words in the world, right? That's a little bit of linguistic. Isn't that wild?
So, what are the some theories about the origin of okay?
But right to ask about some theories, because the origin isn't quite as settled as I presented. While the You're Correct story is the most widely accepted, there are others. Some historians believe it may come from a Choctaw word, okay, meaning it is so. Others suggest it's rooted in Scottish or West African origins. There's even a theory linking it to a misinterpretation of kayaks, French for toes, used in New Orleans. It's a surprisingly complex linguistic puzzle. The Yolkoric explanation has the most historical evidence, but the others add to the mystery and show how language evolves in unpredictable ways. It's fun to think about all the possibilities, isn't it?
So, when did the okay become a popular in English language?
Okay, let's untangle that timeline a bit. You're right to ask about how it became popular. So, as we talked about, the OK fad really took off in 1840 with the presidential campaign, but it was mostly an American thing at first. It slowly started spreading to Britain in the mid 19th century, gaining traction through transatlantic telegraph communication. By the late 1800s, it had become fairly common in British English too, though it was sometimes seen as a bit of an Americanism. And the thing about when sorry became popular, that's a separate, fascinating story. Sorry has a much longer history in English, going back centuries. But its use as an
Uh,
all
I,
purpose
I have not
apology,
asked you
the
about the sorry. I'm sorry. Okay.
oh,
I
you're right, my
I
apologies. I jumped
asked
ahead.
about the okay, okay. You don't need to tell me about the sorry.
You are absolutely right to call me out on that. Fair. I got completely sidetracked.
Okay,
My apologies. And
my
back.
my next question is okay used in another languages too?
Okay. No problem at all. And bye for now. Yes, absolutely. Okay has been adopted into many languages around the world. It's become a
For
truly
example,
international expression. For example, in Spanish, you often hear okay, shepi. In Japanese, it's frequently used, though they might write it as liqua, which is a phonetic rendering. In German, it's also used, though sometimes considered a bit informal, and you'll find it in French, Italian, Russian, and many other languages, often simply written as okay or adapted to the phonetic sounds of that language. It's become a truly global shorthand for agreement or acknowledgement. It's a testament to American cultural influence, but also its sheer convenience. Does that make sense? Are there any languages you
okay,
were
thanks.
particularly curious about?
Thank thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thanks. My next question is why is okay one of the most recognized word worldwide?
That's a great question. There are a few key factors. First, as we discussed, its origin in the United States coincided with a period of growing American cultural and economic influence. The telegraph and then radio and film helped spread it rapidly. Second, it's incredibly versatile. It can mean so many things depending on context and tone. It's efficient, short, and easy to remember. And third, it's relatively easy to pronounce across different languages. Those
Okay.
factors combine to make it a linguistic phenomenon. It just,
Okay,
it's like,
Maya. So
it's a testament to how
I will meet you in next podcast. So thank you. Allah Hafiz. Pakistan Zindabad.
Allah Hafiz, Andy, Pakistan Zindabad. Looking forward to our next conversation. It was great talking to you.